Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal are going to fight. Okay, great. Well, before you guys all go, of course they're going to fight. No, it wasn't that obvious. I mean, here, let's just work out the timeline. Diaz fights. He beats Pettis. He calls out Masvidal. Masvidal's sitting in the crowd. They pan to Masvidal. Masvidal's shaking his head. Yes, right there on the spot. Looks like we got to fight, right? Well, no. They never did anything to try to make that fight. They even went to Dana, the media did, and said, hey, where are we at on this fight? And Dana said, look, we don't know how busy Nate's going to stay. As a matter of fact, he just sat out for 36 months before he did this last fight. He could be out another 36 months. And no, we can't really plan things around him. That was a fun moment. Great night. All wonderful thing. But no, we're not working to make that fight. Now, what happened here? Why do we have this fight all of a sudden? Why at Madison Square Garden is there not a world title fight? Well, let me tell you. Apparently, Colby was supposed to fight Kamaru, and it fell through on Colby's end. Apparently. And, just a simple negotiation. Hey, I need more. My contract calls for this. You got me locked up, but now you're looking at the Garden and a world title fight that people want to see against myself, the interim champion, and, by the way, the undisputed champion. So, but somewhere things get off course. And it looks as though Masvidal is going to step in. For a minute, it was Masvidal was going to step in and take on Usman. Somewhere along the way, and I don't know that a negotiation fell apart there, and I'm only as good as the rumors out there, but I haven't heard that rumor. What I've deduced and pieced together is somewhere along trying to get Kamaru and Masvidal together, they go, you know what, if we're going to just change this fight, let's just give the exact fight that everybody's already agreed on and wants. Let's see what Nate Diaz is up to. So I'm with Gilbert. Myself, personally, I'm with Gilbert at an ESPN. Melendez gets a phone call, a FaceTime, and he answers it. And he and I are walking to go to the car, go back to the hotel. Well, Nate doesn't know I'm there. He must have thought he just had Gilbert, because Gilbert said, hey, what are you up to? And Nate just spills it. I'm headed to the gym. Fight camp starts tonight. I'm taking on Masvidal at MSG. Old Chael kept the secret. Huh? How do you like that? I said nothing. I told nobody. I didn't even tell Gilbert that I overheard it. Told nobody. All of a sudden, that fight gets made. And when you do look at it, I would like to know what happened. And I'd really like to know exactly what happened. Is the rumor true? Okay, I accept that Colby stopped that fight. For whatever his reasons were, we're going to get him. But I accept that. What I want to know is if Masvidal was brought in to fight Kamaru, what happened there? Because don't forget, somebody is getting slighted here, which is Kamaru. Kamaru was expecting a title shot. November's not all that far away. He's in preparations right now. And all of a sudden, he's gone. And it does leave you with one other problem. The problem that isn't being discussed is, okay, great. Okay, great is what's being discussed. Masvidal and Nate, they're going to do it, and it's done. And that's what everybody wants to see. Oh, by the way, it's 5 rounds. It's the main event. Everybody gets what they want. Dream fight. I agree. But as we try to unpack this thing, what happens for Kamaru? He was promised a fight. He is a prize fighter. The end of the year is almost here. Australia's got a main event. MSG now has a main event. There's still Vegas coming up, but there's rumors that Max Holloway is supposed to headline that, or Amanda Nunes is supposed to headline it, but both are supposed to be on it. Do you have room for one more world title fight? I don't think so. I don't think you do. So now are we kicking the can to 2020? Also, and the bigger problem, as I see, who's Kamaru fight? Kamaru has business right now with Colby Covington. If you pull Colby, okay, great. Kamaru fights whoever you want to slip in there. But they pulled Kamaru. Now you've got both these guys sitting out there. Fight that makes sense for Colby is Kamaru. Fight that makes sense for Kamaru is Colby. Are you attempting to find a new number one contender within the Diaz versus Masvidal fight? Because you're not all that likely to find it. You will if Masvidal gets the jump. But Diaz has an ace in the hole out there, and it's called Conor McGregor Trilogy. I don't know that Diaz has a quarrel with Kamaru Usman. I'm just sharing for you for the likely suspects. I don't know that he has business with Kamaru. That can change quickly. But we're sitting right now, and forget about it can change quickly. Guys, that fight's in November. Kamaru just got iced, which means Kamaru's going to be up somebody's ass, get me a fight, which means they're going to need to get him a fight. Okay, great. Well, we don't have time if we follow that math to wait for a contendership bout between Diaz versus Masvidal. We've got to make an announcement and get on with it. Kamaru's got to know who he's training for and who he's looking forward to. And I just don't see who's out there besides Colby. Let's do that fight. Great, right? I know that's what you're thinking. But that fight just fell through. We have to learn some lessons that we picked up from this last week. If that fight doesn't work at Madison Square Garden, if you can't get things hashed out and worked out for Madison Square Garden, greatest venue in the world, where are you going to go where all of a sudden you can bring the sides together? That's what I'm suggesting. What happens with Kamaru? And if it isn't Colby, and it should be Colby, if it isn't Colby, then we got to answer another question. What happens with Colby? So as much as we're basking in the glow of the fact that we got Diaz and Masvidal together, dream match, I agree with you. We are still left, if we're chess players, for where do the other pieces go?